Welcome back to the Center for Off-Road Research, Shenanigans, and Science at the scene. And I have the piece I need to finish this truck. It is an all-metal transmission, and this thing has got some heavy-duty gears in it. And the reason I went with metal is because this may end up having a pretty high kV brushless system in it. So I wanted a transmission that could actually take the force that I'm going to give it. This is my first metal transmission. I just hope these gears can stand up to it. I think they will. They look like they're a little beefier than the stock gears, but in order to fit this motor onto it, I'll have to get rid of that stock motor plate there. So I'll go ahead and pull this. I'll mount up the mofo parts, and we'll get this thing rolling. I'm not going to bother showing all that on video because you've seen how to do that. Most of you have done it yourself, so I'll just show it put in. Also, I've got some drive shafts to put in, and tomorrow we'll do some speed runs out in the street and see what it does. Here's an advice for anybody getting Nick's high pinion tooth motor plate, and that's buy the metal one. The plastic one is just pretty hard to deal with. I ended up gluing the motor to the motor plate because the screws aren't able to hold it, but that's no problem. He has sent me a metal one in the past. I think I've already installed it on a different vehicle. Wish I had another one. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the SPEEDBOLT, a deadbolt with Enduro 24 axles. It has the Mofo RC Buzzsaw with a 20-tooth pinion and Betty front bumper. And in a way, my channel's come full circle because one of the very first things I ever did on it was back in the Mini Z testing days. If you've been with me that long, you know that I did a lot of wing testing and used an actual homemade wind tunnel and got real results that were noticeable on the track. And I have added one of my custom built wings to the back of this. Not that it needs rear traction, but it will act like the fletching on an arrow and hopefully help keep it going straight at high speed. So that's the reason for the wing, and it looks kind of cool, I think. But this thing is ready to go. I had to reverse the motor lead wires to make sure that it rotated in a forward direction when I pulled the trigger back, but it's ready to take it out on the street and find out what you'll do. This is an encouraging sign. I actually get a little bit of tire swell. Couldn't believe it. Just a little. Love it. Well, since the last scene there, I did a midnight run up the street and noticed a couple of things. First of all, it is super smooth. I hadn't anticipated that. Second of all, the drive shafts turn in the opposite direction, and I should have known that when I had to swap the motor leads, but previously I'd only installed a limiting strap on the driver's side in the rear. Well, I had to put one on the passenger side because it tips towards the driver. Hadn't expected that, so that has been corrected. Also, I lost my body pins. They're somewhere in the basement here, but I've got white ones on there for now. I don't think they look too bad. And the other thing I did was I added a earplug into the rear of the vehicle, and what that does is it makes it just basically nearly fall dead, and before it was pretty bouncy. So when it hits a bump, it pretty much just falls dead how you want it. The front does perfectly. It just drops in and stays, no bounce at all. But this thing runs very smoothly. I am going to have to secure the servo a little better onto the axle because I think I'm getting, excuse me, it's pretty late. I think I'm getting a little bit of servo twist, and that's not desirable at all because that's causing uncommanded steering. But I was going to take it back out one more time up the street here and just have a look and see. I would video it, but I need both hands right now because I've already flipped it twice. So at the speeds it's traveling, it doesn't take much. Also, you can't just let off the gas. It'll just front flip it. So I'm learning, and should have expected that. Kind of did, but I forgot. So if I can, I'll just take a camera out and do a flyby with it, and we'll see what it does. All right, second time on the road. Much better with the limiting strap. The second I try to really open it up, it wants to twist on me. Still a little unpredictable. Likes the bicycle. Only half throttle. I don't know what speed that is, but probably need a flatter surface to run on. The road out here is fairly crowned. Well, I don't know. When I open it up, I can't even go half throttle. The second I get into it, it starts flipping. Oh, now it stopped. I hope I didn't burn the motor up. Well, this one's on me. I think I toasted my motor. First time I drove it. I touched it, and it was so hot I couldn't put my hand on it. I forgot that I have a dragster, and I need to cool it between runs. And didn't even put the heat sinks on yet. So in that much time, I burned the motor out already. So success and failure. I'll be back. Yeah, this one was all on me. I definitely smoked a motor. I plugged I have this Samex motor that I plugged in, and it worked. And the motor that's in it right now is just dead. But this will give me a little bit of time to get that steering servo worked out. It needs to be mounted down a little bit stronger, and that's not a problem to do that. I have some time because now I'm going to order some parts from Mofo and get it running again. I feel kind of bad that I made it go Kevin Talbot on it in the first few minutes of driving it, but I guess if I'm going to drive it that way, it's going to get hot. And never even occurred to me to put my heat sinks on it yet. Should have, and I should have let it cool between runs, and maybe it would still run now. But I know it works. I know it's fast. I also know it's pretty wild and it's difficult to control, but I'll get it figured out. That's all for tonight, everybody. Have a great week.